We want to hear everything that's happening on the ground. She got the nod on Monday night. I mean, she had quite a following. As always, no stranger to the observer. Let me say a pleasant good evening to St. Augustine MP Khadija Ameen. Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening, Mikey. Well, now we have to say St. Augustine candidate, because Parliament dissolved.
Well, yes, but we have that confidence. So, St. Augustine candidate for the UNC. First of all, let me congratulate you on getting the nod. And, of course, I'm sure many people were happy, of course, on that night. What does that mean to you?
Well, let me tell you, St. Augustine is... I was born in St. Augustine. I grew up in St. Augustine. I was born in Kirep. When I was a councillor for 10 years, I represented St. Augustine South. So St. Augustine is home. When they changed the boundaries of my electoral district way back as a councillor, I continued with St. Augustine South as my area. So I was born in that constituency. I live, I grow, I work. Many of the people who I interact with are either family, extended family, or adopted family. Because some of these people, I've known them for so many years and I've grown to love and respect them, their hard work. So St. Augustine is home for me. And I'll tell you, people know that as an MP, I am always on the ground. But one of the things that I have to tell you is that, when the time came for the party to make the decision, I was very clear that, remember 10, I don't know how many people know, but in 2010, I filed it in St. Augustine. In 2010, we had a partnership, and I know what it is like to be in a partnership, to have a coalition of interest, and for the sake of the country, to trust in the judgment of the political leader. And I was very prepared, even notwithstanding my hard work and people feel I deserve the seat and so on, I was very prepared for if my political leader in her wisdom selected someone else to be the MP for St. Augustine. Because my objective is for Kamla Persad-Bissessar to be the Prime Minister and for Trinidad and Tobago to have a better government and to end the suffering that the PNM have first. But I can tell you that I have always been on the ground. Yet when I was named as the candidate on Monday night, on Tuesday morning, I visited the returning officer with my nomination forms to have them scrutinized. And I got the go-ahead that everything is properly done so that on nomination day, which is on the 4th of April, my nomination papers are ready to be filed. So I don't make joke. And today, we are on the ground. We are walking in the bamboo area. Now, as I said, these are areas that as MP I have walked and I've always been on the ground. So today, as I said yesterday, I went to make sure my nomination documents were in order. And today I walked the entire bamboo settlement number 2 together with the councillor for the area, Sima Ramsaran, and other supporters and activists in the bamboo 2 area. But as I say, we have walked these areas several times as an MP just to hear people's concerns and complaints and so on. And the reception today was good. There are some people whom I have not seen in a while because when I passed before, they were not at home. But they remember me from way back when I was a councillor, and they're reminding me of things that I helped them with. And some of them, it's remarkable. Sometimes it's not something that you give them, it's the kindness you show them. And I always remembered X, Y, and Z, and they introduced me to their children who are now turning 18, and they say, remember, this was the baby, and that kind of thing. So it feels really good to have that family connection with the people of the constituency. And to me, that makes my representation better because I am vested in these people. I love them, I've grown with them, I've seen their children grow in the time since I was a councillor to now, So it makes my representation. When I go in the parliament, I am talking on behalf of people I love. I am talking on behalf of people I care about. I'm not just talking on behalf of people who voted for me. And I think that probably has made me more passionate in the last 5 years as an elected MP, you know. So it was really good to be with the people of Bamboo Settlement number 2. We actually just wrapped up, and we had a short part of a street, and it got late, but I could not leave out those people because they have always been strong supporters of the United National Congress.
No, and in your time, the period that, of course, you haven't been able to do too much of deliveries, but you've been able to work with whatever limited resources to assist the people of St. Augustine. You have seen, of course, home invasions. You have seen some of the residents who had to flee because of their businesses, extortion, you name it. Some who just simply couldn't, deal with the whole economic backlash, and they had to leave and look for better places or greener grass, as the case may be. I mean, taking all of that in consideration, on day one of actually getting in, forming the new government, what would some of the things that you like to lay out from day one for the good people of St. Augustine?
Well, in St. Augustine, the number one issues have been the flooding, perennial flooding. We remember how badly Bamboo was affected,
right.
Orokun, St. Augustine, South water to people windows. The flooding is one of those major issues that I think has to be attended to. Land tenure. There are people in St. Augustine South who have lived on lands for generations, who got leases under the People's Partnership, who are planting garden and agricultural area in Orange Grove Estate in the back of Blue Waters. And they cannot get their leases renewed. But I see a big warehouse going up there on state land, on agricultural land. The 1% get it. Guys, this is done by Blue Waters. So this is what I'm saying is, they're dealing with the 1% and can't deal with my farmers, Orange Grove, all Maloney South. Over the south of the highway from Maloney, all that is St. Augustine constituency, and there are farmers there. So the farmers and the agricultural issues is another issue. And of course, one of the top issues is crime. I have been very outspoken and vociferous to the point where I even criticize the actions of the police, because the police either don't have the resources to come, or when people go in the station and make report, the police themselves are notifying the criminals. And there have had people who lost their lives because they went in the station and make a report. And these are things that, how can we feel safe? There are many businesses as well who experience robberies, and they just don't bother to make a report because they feel that nothing will come out of it. So you see the crime, and the crime also affects the economy. When they're extorting businessmen and they're shooting up small businesses to get tax money, and these businesses close down and the businessmen go on abroad, run for their life. Every one of those businesses, Doubles Place, Roti Shop, Agriculture Shop, or every one of them employs people from the community. That is more people unemployed. And it's a spiral. And I mean, these are people I know personally, When people are victims of crime, I speak out, I put out public press statements, I talk on the radio and things. But you know what else I do very quietly? I go in their homes and meet them. I sit down and talk with them. And the things they will not tell the police or they will not tell the media, the things they will not say in a public meeting, they share on that one-on-one, and I give them that confidentiality. So when I come out here, I am talking facts. I sit down and I watch people cry and I feel their pain when they lose a son. This is not something I read in the papers. This is where I am there with them. So I'm telling you, I mean, we cannot see our children blood just running in the street. We cannot see children you sacrifice to send them to university and they can't even get a job, or they could get robbed and shot and killed. So that is the kind of, those are some of the major issues in St. Augustine. But this is prevalent throughout the country, throughout the country. But Kamala Prasad-Bissessar speaks about the economic drivers that will lead to job creation and, boost back the economy. And St. Augustine is a hub because we have the university, you have Kirap Junction, which is a transit hub because that is the cross with the east-west corridor and the north-south axis. And, you know, all these are spaces for small and micro enterprises to blossom. And I want to see the small man have that economy. And once the economy thriving, small businesses will have a better chance. You know, the businesses around the university, if there's less crime and they feel safer, they will do better. I mean, I really want to applaud the political leader for her speech at the launch of the UNC campaign, where she took her time to outline what the UNC represents and what we will do when we are government. It's not just about hype. She has thought about the small man. She has thought about those people who could lose their pension, where the PNM brought a bill to take away people's pension, where she will restore it. She spoke about, you know, in public health, there are more and more cancer patients. And cancer patients are not getting drugs in this hospital. I have a lot of constituents who are in tears because they go 1 week, they cannot get their drugs, so this week they have to go back and they miss the medication. And there was supposed to be an oncology center which was started under the People's Partnership government, and the PNM messed it up as with everything else. It can't finish yet. And it is affecting thousands of people who are cancer patients. We also have the situation where other surgeries just being postponed. In Bamboo there, I met a gentleman. He had to do an eye surgery, and they tell him it's better he go and do it private. So he is in the process of scraping up money and raising funds and family helping him for him to get a simple eye surgery, because if he waits in the hospital, he will get it. But under the PNM, he might lose the eye first. You know, so the political leader talking about medication in the hospital, having health centers open for longer hours, so you don't have to go in Mount Up and lie down on the ground because you're there for 24 hours waiting. And when we say these things, Terrence, I think there's one to come and say, we're creating hysteria. Listen, I just live with my constituents. I remember there was a man named Mr. Naresh from Spring Village. They call him Jack Palance. Jack Palance is his nickname. He died now, but he got a heart attack. And when his daughter took him to Mount Hope, more than 24 hours, he was sitting on a chair after getting a heart attack, you know. Ambulance carry him in, you know. And he was sitting on a chair, could not get a bed. This man is now, is an elderly gentleman. He's now exhausted, lack of sleep. You know what he did? He took his bag that they brought clothes for him. He put it on the ground and make a pillow, and he lie down on the ground, on the cold floor to sleep. And I'm not a doctor, but I believe no sleep, lying down on a cold concrete floor, could actually make your health situation worse. So that is the kind of thing that happens on a daily basis in the hospital. Terrence Yalsing cannot tell me I am lying, because I've been there with my people. I went in the hospital and meet Mr. Naresh, you know. I went there to see him when his daughter told me he had the heart attack. And this is not one occasion when this would have happened. Other instances, I would have gone into the hospital either with a friend or a constituent, and so on, when I got news that they were ill. So this is how I live with my constituents, and that is why I could speak on their behalf. So when Kamala Prasad besides us says, let's have health centers open for longer hours, it means less people to go in the emergency room and sit down to wait for health medical attention. When they talk about having more nurses trained, it means better service to the patients, because you will have more nurses, you will have more trained persons. So the nurses who we have now will not be overworked. You know, so it's just.
And don't forget the doctor. Don't forget the doctors and the house calls.
Yes, hey, Yana, that is another brilliant proposal by the UNC, because the doctors who are now going to be on call, there are a lot of people who are in their homes, and let me tell you what is happening. There's get a little pension or disability money. And when they have to go to clinic, they have to pay a car. A car might take $200-300. Even cancer patients who have to go St. James and things, they have to take that money out of the disability, out of the pension. So if the doctors are now visiting them at home, it means that that money could now go towards medication, could go towards buying better food for them, or other things to make them comfortable, because none of certain money they're getting. So I felt that that was a real excellent announcement to include in our manifesto, because visiting elderly persons, disabled persons, people who are infirmed and cannot come out of their house. Really, it's just a humanitarian thing, you know. And I felt that was a good announcement as well.
All right.
So, when I walked this evening, I realized that a lot of people, even if they may not come to a UNC meeting, they listen. And they have been listening to the UNC. And when I walk, interestingly, there are people who are asking more about our proposals. I was really surprised. It's just out of my walkabout in Bamboo. People are not just, blindly supporting UNC. They are vested in the UNC. And I also met a gentleman. He's working in Bamboo, but he lives in Mova. And he told me, he said, he always vote for PNM, but this time, nah, he can't give them that chance. He said, we were suffering, we were fed up. And he started to explain some other issues he had and so on. But every day I meet people like that, whether they're from St. Augustine or other parts of the East-West corridor. And they're saying they voted PNM because they grew up in a PNM household, but now they're seeing it and they cannot vote for UNC anymore. And that sentiment is throughout the East-West corridor.
Yeah, they can't vote for the PNM anymore. That's what they're saying. That's right. Hey, I know you've had a long day. I want to thank you so much for taking time out. You have been on the ground ever since the announcement was made and the green light was given on Monday night. Want to thank you so much. I know you have a lot planned and we'll be checking in with you periodically. All the best to you.
Before I go, I must invite all you Thursday night.
Yes.
We have a town hall meeting on the economy in La Jolla complex in St. Joseph there. And then on Saturday, we're going up in Northeastern College in Sandy Grande, where Sergio Sandy Grande, Togo Sandy Grande candidate, Kamla Prasad Visesa will be the key speaker up in Northeastern College on Saturday. So we're on the move, we're on the road, and we are on the road to victory. I mean, when UNC win, everybody wins.
So true.
And everybody has to win this time.
All right. Thank you so much, Khadija. Appreciate it.
That's right.
You're welcome.